Bree Alvarez, or should I say Coach Alvarez now, the new girls basketball coach at Selma High School. So Bree, I appreciate the time. So just talk about that, becoming the new head basketball coach at Selma High for girls basketball. I mean, what's that mean to you?
It's an amazing opportunity for me. I didn't think I'd be coaching 3 years later after I graduated, but to kind of circle back and be around the kids again, be around the game, it's everything that I've wanted, that I've dreamed of. So I think it's going to be exciting for me too, because I get to do what I love, and that's coach the game, be around the game, be around the kids. So I'm excited to get started.
What was it about Selma High School, that led you there to, apply for the head coaching position and make that position the one that you get your head coaching career started at?
So shout out to Coach Bree Alvarez. He's out at COS doing his thing there, coaching the girls team, or the women's team, should I say. But he had messaged me, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? What's going on? Just trying to, connect with him. And he mentioned a position was open. He was like, go apply for it, check it out, see how you like it. So I went and I did that. And then I felt very invited, very welcomed. Randy, who's the AD, just opened me with open arms and kind of brought me on and was excited to have me on board. So that's kind of how we connected in that regard. But the community of Selma, the staff of Selma, it's just like a family-oriented school. Like, everybody's very tight knit, and that's something that drew me to the program for sure.
I know you're from Lemoore. I know then you went to Fresno Pacific. You played at Fresno Pacific, for a few years. I know you graduated a few years ago. So was this always the plan after college, or did it just, all of a sudden the itch came back to be around basketball?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think once you graduate college, you have like this expectation of like, okay, what's next? What career are you going to get into? What's the new and next job? And so I kind of deviated away from basketball a little bit because I was so concerned with trying to, quote unquote, get financially stable, right? After college is what they try to tell you, or what society tries to pose on you. So I kind of deviated from my passion a little bit and went off, did some things, worked a couple different positions, but ultimately I knew I wanted to be around the game, and I just have a passion, and I love the game. So I was like, you know what? I'm tired of watching it on NBA games. I'm tired of watching the Warriors win. Like, I want to get out there myself. So I just had an itch for it and wanted to come back.
I know you played under Coach Beauregard at Fresno Pacific. One, have you told him that you got the position? And two, has he given you any advice, that he was your head coach and now you're going to be a head coach?
Yeah, so so I originally had applied for another high school position and didn't get that position. So he was trying to give me some advice on how to approach it. But yeah, he's been awesome, a big supporter, fan in my corner. But yeah, he reached out and he's like, all right, let me know when games are. I'm ready to support your program. So I'm excited. I'm sure he'll stop by for a couple of games.
For you, from being from Lemoore, which is a small town, going to Selma now, being the head coach there, it's a small town, like you said, one high school in Selma, community. So, I mean, just does that also help a little bit, that it's basically a community high school, there's not really any other high schools around like a Clovis, or a Fresno. It's just Selma and a small town.
Yeah, no, I think that's what makes it very unique. When you have a community that's just invested in one program, you have the fan support, you have the community support, you have staff support. So when the focus is on one program, you build that culture innately, right? It just happens because that's the only program close by to support. So why not? But I just enjoy the small town feel, being from Lemoore. Even FPU, we had our own tight-knit community. We were very family oriented, Christ focused. And so everything was very tight knit. So kind of going from that into Selma, I feel like it's the perfect fit.
So I guess, being the head coach now, your first head, what kind of coach, can the Selma Bears girls basketball team look forward to? What is Bree Alvarez's coaching philosophy going to be like?
Right. I've been asking myself that question a lot recently. But I think for me, it's just more about giving back to the community, giving back to the kids. I think too, it's getting kids to see that females can lead, right? I'm bringing on a staff that has 3 other female coaches on board. And so to kind of represent female leaders in that space, you don't see it too often. And so that's something that I'm passionate about. I have 3 amazing, coaches that'll be on staff with me that are excited just as much. But I think our philosophy is just going to be hard work and just grinding it out, right? Like we come from a smaller division. We're not Division 2, we're not Division 1, right? So we have a lot of work to put into the program, and there's a lot of room for improvement. And so just to have that backing of support and female leaders, I think it's going to be a good turnout for us.
Selma High, has always been one of those schools that, they have a basketball, I guess, legacy, they've
Right.
been good at basketball. So, going into it, knowing the type of basketball teams that Selma High girls basketball usually produces, just what do you think of that? What were your thoughts on that? And did that excite you, knowing that, it might not be a complete rebuild, that you can already go in there and establish what you want to do?
Absolutely. The coach prior there was there for years. And so he established a culture where I think his motto was like, nobody works harder than we do. And so that's going to still be embodied in our program. We're going to grind it out. We're going to work just as hard as everybody else and probably harder. And so that's just our focus. We want to just make sure that what was already established is grown into something greater, something bigger. For me, it's about how far can we push this, right? How far can we go? We have some great competition in our league. I was taking a look at some of the teams in Sierra Pacific, right? So we have some very good teams in our league. It's going to be a competitive battle, but I mean, I'm come from a student athlete, right? So I'm ready. I'm all about the competition. So we're excited.
What, I guess, like you said, when did you realize, that you wanted to be on the coaching, I guess, realm?
Yeah.
When did you realize that, you wanted to go into coaching? And I guess that love of basketball, you played it, you were a student athlete. Did you ever think, being a student athlete and knowing how coaches get on you, or how coaches would, probably get mad at you sometimes, did you ever think you'd be in that position now?
Oh, absolutely. Everything comes full circle, right? The things that your coaches teach you in high school, middle school, college, whatever level that you play at, there's a reason behind why they do what they do. And so I've learned a lot through my time being a student athlete, just a variety of different things, the ups and downs of being a student athlete, the different roles and the different hats that you wear as a student athlete, and also being a representation for the program and for the school or the university, right? So a lot comes with it. You kind of, as a coach, you have a new perspective. Being a prior student athlete, I'm sure I'll get some that want to go against the grind a little bit or go against the grain, but it's all part of a greater cause, a bigger picture. So.
I guess my final question would be, for anybody who's going to be watching this from the Selma community or just the Central Valley basketball community, what do you want them to know about Bree Alvarez and what the Selma High girls basketball team is going to be?
Yeah, I think from a coaching perspective, for me personally, I just want us to be represented in the right way. I want us to do the right things. I want us to be very detail oriented, be very disciplined in our approach, and just do things right. And then also be involved in our community. I think, I'd take it back from when I was at FPU, that servant leadership, and applying that with our program now, just being well invested in what we can grow this into. And so I'm excited to be a part of it. I hope that the fans and the parents and the players are also excited. I want them to know that they're in good hands and that their players and their daughters are going to be taken care of. So let's get it rolling at this point, huh?
There you go. I guess also too, just one last question. Sounds good. Well, Bree, I appreciate the time. Congratulations once again on being named the new girls head basketball coach at Selma High School. We will talk again soon. And Selma High School, look out for Bree Alvarez as the new girls basketball coach.
Appreciate your time, Chris. Thank you.